Hey guys, welcome back to Witchcraft Wednesday. Today we are talking about Ouija boards and if they really work. Now, short answer, no. Long answer, yes, under the right circumstances and with the right materials. You see, the Ouija boards that you can get off of Amazon or at, a store. I got this one from Spirit Halloween a few years ago. And I got this one off of Amazon a few years before that. As you can tell, this one has been used thoroughly. So, the box comes with the planchette and the board. You put the planchette on the board, and then the ghosts will move around the planchette to spell out different things or answer yes or no questions, and you can use it to talk to spirits. But it doesn't really work. There are 3 rules when working with Ouija boards. Don't play alone, don't play in a graveyard, and always say goodbye. Supposedly, if you play in a graveyard, it's going to be too many ghosts just fighting over control of the planchette, and it's going to be chaos. Always say goodbye, because leaving the board without saying goodbye is like leaving your front door open. Anyone can just walk right in. And the reason why you're never supposed to play alone is because if you play alone, then you'll find out that it doesn't actually let you talk to ghosts. The thing about Ouija boards is someone is always pushing it, but no one will ever admit to who's pushing it, to being the one pushing it, so everyone thinks it works, and there's never just one person pushing it the whole time. It's always, you're taking turns pushing it, and sometimes you're all pushing it at the same time, and that's how it works. But anything could be a Ouija board, or I guess it wouldn't be a Ouija board then, it would be a spirit board or a talking board. You just have to put the alphabet, the numbers, yes, no, and goodbye on anything. It could even be a piece of notebook paper. And then instead of a planchette like one of these, you would actually use a pendulum or a crystal. And that's how it will really work. You just hover the pendulum. Hang on, I have one. Let me go get it. Here it is. If you just let the pendulum swing over the board, like that, and it'll go in circles or back and forth. Right now it's kind of going in ovals, but it is swinging to the yes, which means there's a ghost nearby. And that's usually how it works, is just with the swinging. But it won't really work if you don't believe. You gotta trust in your magic and trust in the spirits themselves. You don't manipulate it at all. You just let it swing. You see, I'm just holding it here, and it's And it's swinging. I am not manipulating it at all. And that's how to get it to really work. But if you want it to stay a fun, spooky game, then use the planchette. You can even use tarot cards or rune stones in addition to a Ouija board, and you can use it for all kinds of things. I will personally like to take a rune stone and kind of just throw it like you would a dice in a board game. And wherever it lands on the board, whatever letter it lands on, is the one selected, and you just do it over and over until you make a word. If there's no spirits around that want to make contact, then it's just a fun game where you're making up, where you put random letters together to make a word or a sentence. And it's fun because it's usually ridiculous. But if there's a spirit around, it'll make out a word that makes sense. Usually it doesn't make sense though. Mainly because my body, my house, my magic is all protected from evil spirits. Because yes, those are something I believe in. I actually have rune stones buried on multiple points around my property in the shape, and if you connect them, they make the shape of a 5-pointed star. And they're homemade rune stones, just rocks that I painted symbols on and sigils. They're not actually rune stones, but I find it's easier to just say rune stones than rocks with sigils painted on them. Because, I like to make things easier. So I have rocks. I have flat rocks which were not easy to find, by the way, with some protection sigils painted on them all around the house. So this house and this property is protected from natural disasters, dark magic, all kinds of stuff. And diseases can still get in, but it would be easier because when my sister had COVID, usually it would be, when one of us would get sick, we'd all end up getting it. But she was the only one who got COVID. And I like to believe that it was because of the sigils. But it could have been that, we all left each other alone while she was sick. But I choose to believe it was because of the sigils. My mom wouldn't let me paint sigils on the house, and neither would my dad. So I had to settle for the not as strong buried rock sigils. Although, to be fair, they probably, that someone would probably think that the house got vandalized if I had done that. Yeah, so one of these days I'll do Witchcraft Wednesdays and I'll show you guys the sigils and how to do it yourself. But it's been a while since I've, dug them up and repainted the sigils, because occasionally if the protection is getting a little weaker, I have to dig the rocks up and paint over the sigils and just repaint them to make the spell stronger. And that's really how magic works. It's a lot like prayer. If you believe in it, then it'll work. But if you don't believe in it, it won't work for you. Little kids are much easier to show off my magic to than it's way easier to do magic with little kids who still believe in magic than it is adults who haven't believed in magic for decades. And that's why. It's because it's all about belief. And anyway, that's really all I have to say. If you are going to try playing with a Ouija board the way I taught you so that it actually works, do it with care, be cautious, respectful, and this should go without saying, but never ask a spirit how they died or how you're gonna die. First of all, who would want to know how they were gonna die? That's not something I want to know. But it might be traumatic for them if you ask them how they died. It makes them think about it, and it brings up that memory, and it's typically death is unpleasant. So it's just generally not a good idea to ask. And spirits, they don't know how you're gonna die. They're not all knowing. They're just people who have died. They're not gonna know how you're gonna die. But that's all the witchcraft wisdom I have to share with you today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Also, a little side note. All witches are human. Witches and Wiccans are not the same thing, but a lot of witches are Wiccans. It's kind of like how all Selkies are seals, but not all seals are Selkies thing. It's the same thing. All witches are Wiccans, but not all Wiccans are witches. Although it's not even that, because not all witches are Wiccans. But a lot of witches are Wiccan. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, I promise. I'm going now. Bye. Okay, this is really the end of the video. I have another side note. If you're in the closet, if you're a closeted witch, don't leave candles burning, because I almost lit my altar on fire a few days ago when I lit a candle and did a ritual for my grandmother who died. Remember to blow out your candles before walking away from it. Okay, I promise this is the end of the video. Bye, guys.